Hello, everybody. I am Maria, and I am the admin of the Money Making Esthetician Facebook group. And I am so excited to be doing a very in depth about hyperpigmentation. So, if you would like to introduce yourself and what we're going to be talking about today.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Dianca Arcos Duran. I'm the National Educator for Green Envee. I've been a licensed esthetician for over 16 years, working everywhere from a med spa to a day spa, having my own space, etc. I've done it all. And today we're going to be talking about hyperpigmentation, and I'm going to be demoing our hyperpigmentation brightening protocol, which is one of my personal favorite protocols because we're going to be layering two pro peels on top of each other. They each have different formulations. They each have different AHAs that target specific skincare conditions and different types of hyperpigmentation, melasma, sun damage, PIH. So you get fantastic results, especially when you do a series of 4 to 6 peels spaced 2 to 4 weeks apart. But even one time, you're getting a full skin rejuvenation. So not only will you have brighter skin, but you're also going to see soft and fine lines, reduced appearance of pore size, firmer skin, brighter skin, just smooth texture. It's one of those great transformative peels that will make your clients feel amazing, but also look amazing and feel amazing, because that's what we're all about, creating protocols that not only make you look great and address skincare issues, but also activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the part of your central nervous system that's also known as your rest and digest. The parasympathetic part of your nervous system is what needs to be activated in order for you to do any sort of healing, whether it's skin healing, whether it's healing from like a disease that you've had or a cold, or even emotional healing. So it's really important to be in that state. And unfortunately, these days we're just running around always anxious and just hyper busy. And it's important to take the time to activate that part of your central nervous system to help you heal. So not only will your clients walk out of your Green Envee treatment looking amazing, but feeling amazing too. We call it whole beauty because you're working on mind and body. So I'm excited to show that to you. And also, we'll be doing the protocol. But before we start the protocol and talk all about hyperpigmentation, melanogenesis, the different types of hyperpigmentation, and the triggers, let me give you a super quick intro about Green Envee in case you haven't heard of us before. So, and if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, and I'm sure Maria will ask them, and we'll make sure we get back to you for sure. Okay, so Green Envee, I like to think of us as like the perfect intersection between nature and science. We use organic or non-GMO ingredients, and we blend those with skin perfecting actives like clinically backed peptides, AHAs, niacinamide, vitamin C, plant stem cells, the list goes on to give you results. We're all about results. We're also all about bringing in clean ingredients. And I know that whole clean beauty is kind of a marketing term, but we are serious about creating formulas that are efficacious, that are transformative, without all the toxins associated in traditional skin products. So what are the toxins? I'm talking about things like fragrance. Fragrance can be dozens and dozens of different like things like phthalates and endocrine disrupting ingredients that you don't have to list on the label. What's the problem with phthalates and endocrine disruptors is they mess with your hormones. They can affect fertility, hair, weight gain, your thyroid. Just over time, if you're using a product over and over, it can bioaccumulate in your tissue. So it's important to choose great formulas that give you results without adding a toxic burden. Is that a question? No. Okay, so we also don't use water in our formulas. So we have a base of organic green and white tea. That means you're getting a foundation of anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. It also means more concentrated and less is more when you use our products. And we also have a nanolipid delivery system, because if your ingredients are just sitting on top of your skin, they're not going to do much. You want to make sure they are driven into the deeper layers of the skin to create that change that you want to see. Now, when you become a spa partner, you will be giving a professional like toolkit, which includes access to Green Envee University, which is an on-demand education platform where you can watch all of our protocols. There's live demos. There's all of our protocols in video form, and also different classes like marma point therapy, aromatherapy, lymphatic drainage, gua sha, the things I mentioned before, the tools and techniques that you need to activate that parasympathetic nervous system. So that's all there for you, along with a digital monthly marketing plan, which is our creative team works really hard on creating beautiful images, reels, stories, copy for you to use, because we know social media is basically a full-time job. So you have everything on your fingertips, plus a designated rep to help guide you through. So just thank you for coming to my TED Talk, just a little 101 on Green Envee. And I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera over to our beautiful model, Claudia, and we're going to start on the hyperpigmentation brightening protocol. And then during the protocol, instead of watching me just cleanse, we'll talk about how hyperpigmentation happens. Sound good? Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and flip over here. There's Claudia.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Okay, let's make sure. There we go. Okay, so as I mentioned, we want to activate that parasympathetic nervous system. Even if you're doing a super simple, like a lunchtime peel, you still have a chance to help your client relax. And that makes the treatment so memorable because they just feel amazing when they leave. And the way we start all of our facials is we take, now mind you, I've done a thorough skin consultation, checked for allergies. We've talked about what she would like to, gain from this facial. So we've done all that. But to start, we're going to use our Vahadi Herb Infused Healing Oil, a couple pumps of that. That's all you need. And just rule of thumb, when you are diluting essential oils, 1 drop to 1 teaspoon is a 1% dilution, and that is safe for most people, even elderly clients, even kids. So like older kids, 1 drop. And this is our Relax Essential Oil. This is a blend of lavender and chamomile. Very soothing to the central nervous system. I call it like a chill pill. And I'm going to go ahead and blend that mixture into my dry hands. Oh my God. Into my hands and have my client take a deep breath. 3 deep breaths. This is going to help kind of ground them into the space. And then you're slowly going to introduce your touch. And I just recently got a massage where the massage therapist just kind of held a certain point for a long period of time. And I could literally feel my body like melting into the bed. I think there's something to be said for stillness and deep breathing. And I think that's the quickest way to relaxation. I also heard the quote where your breath is the remote control to your nervous system. So deep breathing, grounding in the moment is everything. So you're just going to do introduce your touch, and then you're going to work your way around the shoulders, along the sides of the neck, along the spine, and you're going to move to Marma Point 1. This is Adipati Marma. This is all available on Green Envee University. I'll kind of lift this up a little. So it is located at the crown of the head right here, where your crown chakra is. And this is the master point. This regulates all pranic activity. All your prana is a vital life force, similar to qi in traditional Chinese medicine. And you're going to just press and hold for 10 to 30 seconds. And this will help stimulate cerebral circulation, help balance the energy, help with lymph flow, especially if you are kind of pumping over here on the temporalis. And it just lets the client know they don't need to be anywhere else. Just relax into the moment. A simple technique to help relax your client before all of your active treatments and pro peels and modalities. So that is how we start all of our treatments with the Adipati Marma located at the crown of the head. Okay, so now we're going to start with our first cleanse. Okay, this product, Purified Botanic Cleansing Oil, is a bestseller for a reason. You're just going to take 2 pumps, and this stuff will just melt away makeup, waterproof makeup, dirt, debris, oil. You can use it on acne-prone skin, on super dry skin. It is just a must to remove that first surface layer. You can also use it on its own as a cleanser, but I just love a double cleanse at home. And of course, in the treatment room, we're doing a double cleanse. So this contains camellia oil, tamanu oil, which is incredibly anti-inflammatory, vitamin E. And we're going to just cleanse the skin dry at first to kind of break down that sebum. And then we're going to add a little bit of water to create an emulsion. So after I've kind of massaged it in for about a minute, I add a little water like so. And you will be able to see that it's turning a little milky. And then continue cleansing for another minute. So let's talk about melanogenesis for a second. Melanogenesis is the biological process through which our skin produces melanin, which is the pigment responsible for our skin color and hair color. And this is how it happens. Basically, the sun hits your skin and certain signals are triggered to activate melanocytes, which are the cells that produce pigment. Inside the melanocytes, an enzyme called tyrosinase is activated. And that's why you always see people talking about tyrosinase inhibitors when it comes to brightening products. The enzyme is essential for making melanin, the pigment that gives your skin color. Then tyrosinase converts to tyrosine, an amino acid, and then that converts into L-DOPA, which then changes into dopaquinone through a series of chemical reactions. And that is essentially the pigment. So just to break it down, that's when you have your pigment. The melanin pigment then is then packaged into small structures called melanosomes inside melanocytes. And then those are transferred from the melanocytes to the keratinocytes. So basically, it's starting in the melanocyte, the pigment factory. The pigment is created, and then through these finger-like projections called dendrites, it goes up into the keratinocytes where it's dispersed. And that is how you get darkening of the skin. So once it's inside the keratinocytes, the melanin forms a protective layer over the nucleus, and that's going to help shield skin cells from UV damage. And that basically results in skin pigmentation and helps protect against sun damage. However, when melanocytes are overstimulated through things like sun, through injury, through hormones, they can become overreactive and overproduce melanin. And that is when you see hyperpigmentation. Go ahead and remove this product. So some common triggers, sunlight. And sunlight, hyperpigmentation from sunlight doesn't happen overnight. This is years and years in the making where the melanocyte is overstimulated and then it's damaged. It's creating a little bit of DNA damage. And then it becomes overstimulated. And in your 30s and your 40s, you start seeing all of these dark spots popping up. So ladies, estheticians, and gentlemen, if you're young, please wear SPF every day. Do not go on a boat and sit there for 8 hours and expect not to have any sun damage in your 40s. I'm telling you, I'm there, and I want to make sure I protect you from a life of sun damage and dark spots on your skin. So sun exposure, we know that can cause sunspots. Inflammation and injury, that's called post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Acne, cuts, irritation can lead to post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So when you have inflamed acne lesions, that's why you see those spots. And then even after the lesion's gone, you have that inflammatory spot. That can be an easy fix as long as you address the root cause, which would be the acne. And then last but not least, you have your hormonal changes like melasma. Estrogen and progesterone stimulate melanin overproduction, creating that patchy discoloration. It's usually equal on the skin. So let's say you have a little like butterfly shape on this cheek, you'll have it on this cheek. It's often found on the forehead, cheeks, lips, and that is a hormonal issue, which can be harder to treat. You can definitely scatter the pigmentation in the epithelial tissue with peels and products, but it's going to be harder to treat because it is more of a hormonal issue. Okay, second step. That was our first cleanse. We are now using our Clarify Cleansing Gel. A little goes a long way with this. And this is my favorite cleanser to use to prepare the skin for a professional peel. This contains the smallest percentage of lactic acid, but over time it's going to help resurface the skin. This also has green tea, turmeric, which is another anti-inflammatory ingredient. And this is going to help degrease the skin without impairing the barrier. So it's a must for most skin types when you are doing a professional peel because you really want to remove everything from the surface. Now, if you wanted to buffer the peel, for instance, you can use a more creamy cleanser like our Soothe Herbal Cleansing Cream that'll help buffer the peel a little bit because how you prep the skin for a peel matters. The more you remove like surface oil and sebum, the more that peel is going to penetrate. And for some people, that's a great thing. For some more sensitive skin types, not so great. So I always recommend customizing for every individual client. Okay, that was our Clarify Cleansing Gel, and we are removing with a warm towel. Just gonna work out some knots here on the shoulders. Also feels really great when you're, anytime someone wants to massage my shoulders, they sure can. I'm not gonna say no. I also like to add a few drops of essential oils into the hot towel cavity so that they have just a very subtle aromatherapy experience throughout. We don't want to overpower them with scents and aromas, but a little bit of aromatherapy goes a long way because each blend has different terpenes or constituents within it that help do different things. So some can be more rejuvenating, some can be more relaxing, and depending what your client needs on our intake form, you'll be able to kind of choose, like, do we need to give them the relax with the lavender and chamomile? Do they need something more stimulating like peppermint and rosemary? Okay, so now your skin is prepped for our peel. Perfect. Now we're going to use our Flora Essence Peel. Here we go. So first we're going to tone the skin with our Flora Essence Peel Prep. This is a solution, witch hazel based, that's going to help remove anything that's left on the surface. It's going to degrease the skin, once again, without impairing the barrier. We are all about barrier health. There's a little niacinamide in here as well, which stimulates microcirculation, and that is going to allow your peel to penetrate even better. So I've just saturated these aesthetic wipes with the solution, and I'm just going to go over where I'm going to apply that peel. Okay, I'm going to grab some gloves. And we're going to go ahead with our first peel, which is our Flora Essence Peel. So this one I love for a lot of skin types because you have lactic acid, mandelic acid, and hibiscus. So we know lactic and mandelic are medium molecular weight and large molecular weight, so they're tolerated by many skin types. Lactic also acts as kind of a humectant, so it's going to help add some hydration into the skin. You also have hibiscus, which inhibits elastase. And I'm going to just take an aesthetic wipe like this, saturate it, and swipe on her dry skin. So hibiscus inhibits elastase, the enzyme which breaks down elastin, so it's going to firm the skin and hydrate while you peel. Plus it has anti-glycation ingredients like carnitine and carnosine. We love an anti-glycation. I'm going to do your neck too, because the facials never stop at the chin. And there's two ways to apply this peel. So I poured it. That's what it looks like, just to kind of show you. Flora Essence Peel 20%. I poured it into a small bowl like so, saturated the aesthetic wipe, and applied a thin layer. Now you can also apply it with a fan brush. I feel like when you apply it with a fan brush, it feels a little bit more active. The skin feels a little bit more flushed. I think that's just because this kind of absorbs some of the product. So it's completely up to you how you want to apply. Because Claudia can get a little bit sensitive, I chose to apply it with the aesthetic wipe. So just some small tips and tricks. This and both lactic acid and mandelic are tyrosinase inhibitors. They help with the melanogenesis process, so they are going to help brighten the skin. And the thing with hyperpigmentation is, I mentioned those different changes. I mentioned sun exposure can contribute to sun damage. I mentioned inflammation, injury can contribute to PIH, and then hormones to melasma. But then what's like the formula to treat hyperpigmentation? Like, why are we doing this peel? It's because first you need to inhibit tyrosinase. And that's going to be with ingredients like vitamin C, niacinamide, licorice root, alpha-arbutin to slow that melanin production. Because inhibiting tyrosinase will decrease melanogenesis. It's as simple as that. So that's why you have to send your clients home with the right home care and stay consistent. Number 2, exfoliate and renew. Boom. That's what we're doing right here. We're exfoliating the skin with lactic, with mandelic, with hibiscus extract, AHAs, BHAs, enzymes. They're going to remove those pigmented cells and encourage new cell growth and encourage that new skin to come to the surface. And then they'll be accelerating epidermal turnover with the removal of pigment in that superficial layer. And something else I forgot to mention, The melanocytes live in the basal layer of the skin. So it's like almost close to the dermis epidermal junction. So you want to make sure that you are allowing this peel to get deeper into the skin, which is important on how you prepare the skin. That's why I love that Clarify Cleansing Gel, degrease, and allow that peel to really penetrate. Okay, so exfoliate and renew. Then you also want to inhibit inflammation, especially when you're dealing with PIH, because essentially that's what's causing the hyperpigmentation. So using products like aloe vera, niacinamide, soothing products that hydrate and help with inflammation, like our Firm Collagen Gel Mask, our HA Collagen Boosting Serum. And then, of course, last but not least, and maybe the most important, is blocking UV rays. A daily SPF is a must to prevent sun damage. You just have to do it. There's no other way, because melanin has a memory. Once it is already overactive melanocyte, it keeps going. And the only thing you can do is manage it and stop it from getting overreactive by using the right SPF and products. So that's really important to tell your clients too. Okay, after about 3-4 minutes, you are now going to layer right over the top our pomegranate refining peel. That's this guy right here. Poured a little bit into a bowl, whipped it up. It smells like pomegranate and clary sage. I like this aroma. Okay, and we're just gonna go and apply it right over the top. Is your skin feeling okay?
Yeah, totally.
Make sure you check in with your client, see how they're doing. And so right on top, we're applying a layer of pomegranate refining peel. Now, if your clients are a little sensitive, let's say they had a cold and they have like a little bit of irritation around their nose, you can apply our Firm Collagen Gel Mask as a barrier mask. That will help mitigate any sort of potential irritation that could develop by applying a peel to an area that's already a little sensitive. So we're going to let this sit for another 3-4 minutes. And let's talk about what this has in it, because remember our formula is you want to inhibit tyrosinase, exfoliate and renew, block UV rays, inhibit inflammation. So we're at the exfoliate and renew portion. This has pomegranate. It's a true hybrid peel. You have pomegranate enzyme, you have lactic acid, malic acid, and salicylic acid. So this is also great for acne-prone skin. So to treat PIH, this is a great formula.
What is the name of the peel?
It's a pomegranate refining peel. This guy right here. Is it not focused? There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah, pomegranate refining peel. This is one of our most active peels and active combinations that I'm doing today. All of our peels are safe for all Fitzpatrick skin types, and they're superficial. So you don't have to worry about like peeling in sheets or anything. You may experience very late flaking, especially if you're doing a protocol like this where you're layering 2 pro peels, or if you boost our peels, meaning you use like the retinol renewal serum or the mandelic resurfacing serum at the end. That can create a boosting effect that can speed up cell turnover and potentially cause light flaking. But for the most part, I have not experienced flaking with our peels, which is a good thing. No downtime, but you still get results. So this peel I mentioned has lactic, mandelic, salicylic. You also have tyrosinase inhibitors like licorice, which contains a compound like liquitrin, and that inhibits tyrosinase. And then of course, we've heard of alpha-arbutin, which slows the maturation of melanosomes, the organelles that produce melanin. So not only do you have the exfoliate and renew portion of the formula in this peel, but you also have the tyrosinase inhibiting ingredients. So during this peel, feel free to use a handheld fan if you'd like. You can do some tapotement techniques if they're feeling a little uncomfortable. I feel like lactic can make you a little itchy sometimes. So that's something to kind of check in with your client on, and you can mitigate that however you'd like, with the tapotement technique, with the fan. And if your client's just relaxing, you can definitely do a nice shoulder massage with our Vahadi Herb Infused Healing Oil. We also have our Relief, which is a CBD hemp oil cooling sort of like muscle soothing product, which I love. So there's a lot of things you can do while your client is peeling. There's also marma points on the back of your neck that you can manipulate while they are just relaxing, where you're just holding for about 10 to 30 seconds with medium pressure. And like I said, you will start to feel like you are melting into the bed. At first, it might be like tender to the touch, and then you slowly kind of give into it and relax a little bit. So after another 3 minutes or so, you're going to remove this with a tepid towel. I like to use like a tepid towel is not hot, just because we've already applied 2 pro peels. We don't want to irritate the skin too much. So let me just turn down this hot towel cabbie a bit. Just cool the towel off for a second and then apply. And we have some great before and afters too on our socials if you guys want to take a peek after this, which is at Green Envee. I feel like when you see the before and afters, you're like, okay, now I get it. Sometimes we just need a visual to see how great a certain product can be. Okay, so we are removing that peel. Now, all of our professional peels need to be neutralized, and we have a fluorescence pH neutralizer. So that's what's up next. Super easy to use, and it also doubles as a disincrustation solution. So I don't know about you, but I love a multitasker, just less products I need in the treatment room. Okay, we've removed, and now we're going to take some aesthetic wipes and our fluorescence pH neutralizer, which looks like this. Just shake it up, and I'm going to saturate these little guys with it. I want to make sure I neutralize every AHA that is on her skin. And you're just going to go over wherever you've applied the peel. You're just going to go over with your fluorescence pH neutralizer. And I mentioned you want to make sure it's pretty saturated so that you can actually see it going on the skin. This contains sodium bicarbonate, so it's going to bring that pH from a more acidic level to a more neutral level, which is our normal skin. Our skin is usually at like 4.5 to 6-ish on the pH scale. So this will kind of help get it there. Anywhere else that's itching or irritated? Do you feel any places where you're like, it's a little bit more than normal?
Not really. I mean, my neck a little bit, but I feel like nothing crazy.
And you can go over twice if you'd like get a fresh aesthetic wipe, pour it again, and then go over again. If you check with your client, they're like, actually, it's still itching a little bit, you can do that. Now, let's say you were doing like extractions after this. You can just take that same solution and saturate an aesthetic wipe with it. Just want to show you some tips. And put it directly onto the nose. Put it you got the giggles. Just splash on your face. Put it directly on the nose or wherever you're going to do extractions. Let it sit for about a minute or two, and that's going to soften the sebum, soften the skin. So when you do extractions, it'll be that much easier. Anywhere you want. You can put it here. You can also apply it with a fan brush. So just something that you can do immediately after a peel, since you've already exfoliated, the skin is softened. Now you're going to help soften it even more, liquefy that sebum with a fluorescence pH neutralizer, and then you can go ahead with your extractions. Okay, so next up is our massage. So usually for massage, we would use our Vahadi Herb Infused Healing Oil, which has ashwagandha and frankincense. Works for all skin types, including acne-prone skin, biocompatible with the skin. But because we're doing a hyperpigmentation brightening protocol, we are going to use the Firm Collagen Gel Mask, which is this guy right here. The Firm Collagen Gel Mask. It's a cooling jelly kind of mask. This contains organic aloe vera, you have rose, niacinamide, and also a little bit of neroli, which is orange blossom. It smells divine. But the reason is because niacinamide, there's been studies that show that niacinamide helps stop the transfer of those melanocytes to the keratinocytes. So it's stopping the pigment from transferring. And so that is why it's very brightening to the skin. It's also going to help with inflammation. It's also going to help hydrate and cool the skin. And especially after a combination that's pretty active, we want to calm any inflammation and cool the skin. So I'm going to take a little bit of our Hydrate Facial Mist and just gently mist her skin. Whenever you're using anything with hyaluronic acid, with aloe vera, with any sort of humectants, you want to make sure the skin is damp in order for it to properly work. So let's talk about melasma for a second. We know that this is more of a hormonal issue, but something that can exacerbate melasma, and I just took that Firm Collagen Gel Mask and I'm just going to massage it into her skin and cool off the tissues and calm any inflammation and hydrate. Did I mention this also has hyaluronic acid? So with melasma, we know it's kind of activated with an overproduction of certain hormones. But what can exacerbate melasma is heat. So this is why this mask was chosen for this protocol, is because it's very cooling and hydrating and helps with inflammation. So this will be good for a melasma type skin. You want to keep everything cool and hydrated. This also will absorb into the skin pretty easily. So if you don't want to go through too much product and you want to give yourself a nice slip, feel free to spray some more of that Hydrate Mist, and that'll kind of help reactivate the mask and give you more glide and slip. I'm just using some Marma Point techniques here. Gentle pressure. This one helps with digestion, helps with breathing. We have a lot of massages on GEU that you can take a peek at. Another thing I love to do for this specific treatment is, because we want to cool the skin, especially when dealing with melasma, is use our cryo globes. So I'll show you those in just a second. Just kind of want to drive this hydration into her skin. And the massage choice depends on what your client needs. Because she's already a little pink, I'm not going to overstimulate her skin with like too many manipulating and quick movements like that. I want to do soothing effleurage movements, some sculpting movements like I just did, but just really gentle to cool any redness. I like my clients to leave this treatment space looking amazing and not too pink or red, if I can help it. So another thing you could do is take your cryo globes that are chilled. I like to just do a gentle kind of like touch like this to introduce the cold temperature. I don't want them to be too startled. And then just kind of work on the areas that, all over the face, but you can pay attention to areas that are a little red. This is just an easy way to cool and calm the skin post, double pro peel. And take however much time you need for this part of the treatment. You can also use the Firm Collagen Gel Mask as a great medium for lymphatic drainage. I don't know if you've ever seen like this technique where you apply something that's a little tacky, and then it kind of bounces as you go, propelling the lymph along. See how this, her like SCM area is kind of moving as I let go. So it's a really great technique for stimulating lymphatic fluid. Just a little tip there. Okay, so now after our massage, we're gonna remove. So remember, cooling the skin is good for melasma. You want to hydrate with that organic aloe and HA in this product, brighten with that niacinamide that's stopping the melanosome transfer from getting to those keratinocytes. And yeah, clinical studies show that niacinamide decreased hyperpigmentation by inhibiting melanosome transfer from the melanocyte to the keratinocyte. We love that.
We love it. Looks so delicious.
This mask is lovely. It has like a very subtle orange blossom aroma, and it's not a fragrance. Remember, it's just from neroli, organic neroli. And if you're worried about essential oils, we use very, very low percentages of essential oils in our formulas, and they're not there just to smell good. They're there to help elevate the formulas, meaning each essential oil has its own terpenes and constituents and different chemical makeup. Some are more antibacterial, some are antifungal, some are anti-inflammatory, some are soothing and have nervine properties like lavender. So it really, when we're creating the formula, it's important for us to elevate it for whatever that formula needs to do. So for instance, if it's a soothing serum, we're going to add soothing essential oils that are going to help get you there, if that makes sense.
For anybody who's considering bringing in green envy, what would you say is a good package to start with?
Our reps will contact you. We have several packages to start with, and they have, depending on what you need, they can help guide you. So that's the great thing. Everything is kind of customizable, but there are certain opening packages where you'll be able to save some money when you order the bundle, which is great. And that's going to include marketing material. That's going to include, different things that'll help get you started. And you can go to greenenvee.com, and then on the the drop-down menu, it says Become a Pro Spa Partner. Click on that. There's like a few questions, super simple. It'll take you like 30 seconds, and then you're going to get all the info you need. We also have a sample pack to purchase. If you're like, okay, before I commit to this, I want to try the Pro Peels. I want to try your best sellers. And it's a super affordable, small little sample pack. You get a complimentary hydrate mist, and it's great. Definitely worth a shot. Okay, so that was our mask massage, but now we really want to target that hyperpigmentation. So what I have found is using a little bit of LED is very beneficial. Now, I don't want you guys to watch her underneath an LED panel for 30 minutes, but that's something you could definitely do. We'll kind of show you where you would add it in, but you can absolutely, plop on some eye protection. Choose your panel of choice. I just happen to have the Selena, and I put it on the red feature. And then I just go ahead and apply to the skin. I let this sit, according to Selena, you let it sit for 30 minutes. I have done this for much less time with great results, but if you are adding an LED panel for 30 minutes, please be sure to charge accordingly. You are important. You have all the knowledge. You went to school for this, so charge for your time. Make sure you're not just adding this on unless it's already built into the price. So LED is great for so many things. Not only is it going to help stimulate ATP, the energy that your cells need to do any sort of repairing processes, it also helps boost collagen synthesis over time, in turn helping with hyperpigmentation, just kind of helping your skin repair quicker. And I love it. So even if you're leaving it on for like 10 minutes or so, it has this like je ne sais quoi quality to it where you just look amazing. Maria, I'm sure that you agree that LED is such a great and easy modality to use.
100%.
Right? Yes, it's so great. And so it's easy. And it's an investment to get a good quality panel, but it's worth it. Like this one has like pain management as well as healthy aging. And then there's a blue light for acne, but I'm not just all about Soluma. I know Lightstim is great. There's plenty of others. I'm sure you guys can tell each other which ones you love, but definitely a great modality for healthy aging, for hyperpigmentation, for acne, for so many things. And combining this after a Pro Peel is great. I've had a lot of people ask, is it safe to do after a professional peel? Yes, you can do this after our pro peels. They're superficial, like I mentioned, as long as you properly neutralize the skin. So that just means using that fluorescence pH neutralizer that I showed you earlier and dripped on Claudia's face, hence our giggle. That's this guy right here that you need to use after removing the peel with like a tepid towel. So if you've done that, it's absolutely safe. Now, something that's very important, melasma. We talked about melasma being exacerbated by heat. And that's why we chose the firm collagen gel mask to cool, calm, plump, hydrate. But some panels have a little bit of infrared in them and they can heat up quite a bit. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're working on sun damaged skin, on acne, it's completely fine. If melasma is the main target, the main condition that you're treating, you may want to opt out of the LED panel, or you may want to check with the manufacturer to see if there's any infrared or if it heats up quite a bit, because that's something that could be counterproductive to somebody with melasma. Okay, so now we are leaving this on. Let's pretend it's been 10 to 30 minutes later, because I doubt that you guys want to just look at this for 30 minutes, right? Right. Okay, we're going to go ahead and remove. And while your clients enter LED, you can do so many things. You can do, a shoulder massage, a hand massage. I've even done like a guided meditation if they were into it. I'm not like forcing them to do a guided meditation, but if they're feeling it, like let's customize. Let's make this a memorable experience for you. Okay, so we have removed the LED, and now it's time for our mask. So I like to always do a little hydrate mist. This contains rose, hyaluronic acid, and a little carrot root extract, niacinamide. It's kind of the activator that helps activate, that makes the products work that much better, especially if they contain hydrators. So now we're going to use our Potency mask. This is called Potency Superfood Mask. This contains 10% L-ascorbic acid. You also have organic aloe to soothe and calm, a little bit of clay to refine the pores. It's bright green from kale and spinach, which are high in A, D, E, K, copper. And then you have squalene, CoQ10, glycerin. So many great ingredients to nourish and feed the skin and brighten with that L-ascorbic acid. Poured a little in here, whipped it up. Now, if your client is more on the sensitive side, but they can still handle like a pro peel, then you may want to choose firm collagen gel mask, because that one is going to be more soothing and cooling as opposed to this one, which is a little bit more active. This one can oxygenate the skin, which boosts circulation. It can tingle a bit. I know Claudia's going to be a little pink, but I just want to show you the green mask. So this is kind of a one-stop shop, meaning that because you have a little clay to refine the pores, you have some vitamin C combined with the clay, it's going to create an oxygenating effect. It's going to help soften fine lines, but also deep clean the pores plus brighten with that vitamin C. And let your client know, yes, there is a bit of a circulation boosting effect. So if they feel a little bit of like a light tingle, it's nothing close to what a peel feels like, but you definitely feel a little bit of like your circulation being boosted, if you know what I mean. Like some activity, right, Claudia? Like a little bit of activity happening on your face.
Yeah, a little bit. Around like my jawline, I feel it.
And so this is a great time now to kind of calm and cool your client. I'm going to be using a little Bahati Herb Infused Healing Oil with a drop of the essential oil that Relax that we used earlier for just like a gentle, soothing shoulder massage while her mask is on. And you want to leave this on for about 10 minutes, I would say. And even though the protocol says to use this mask, like I said, if the client is a little bit sensitive, go for the firm or go for the Restore if they're feeling really dry. Restore Hydration Mask is our ultra rich, nourishing mask with that has hibiscus to help firm the skin, squalene to help boost that barrier, evening primrose. So there's something for everyone in the line. Any questions so far?
We don't have any just yet.
Okay, great. Thanks for joining, guys. I see everyone's on here. Nice. So different techniques. We do have a Marma Point arm massage. I don't know if you guys are into that. I usually stick to the shoulders, neck, and head. I just feel like there's so much tension there, like I could be here all day, right? Lymphatic drainage also is really important, especially for clients that tend to be puffy. And even just opening the proper channels while their mask is on. So I can show you that for a second. So right above her collarbone here are her supraclavicular nodes. They're located here. And so those are going to drain the face and the neck. And if you start with lymphatic drainage up here, it's not going to be as beneficial. It's not going to work as well as if you start here, because first you have to clear the neck. And so you take like your 2 finger pads, ring fingers, and right above the clavicle, you're just doing gentle pressure, like you're pushing a coin across the table. Like it's not super duper, like super feather light, but it's also not hard. You want to give it a little bit of a push, but gentle. You don't want to go into the muscle and bypass that lymph. The lymph is on top of that muscle. Just do that 5 times. That'll help kind of create a funnel, allowing everything to kind of drain a bit. And I showed you that technique earlier with a firm collagen gel mask. You saw how it kind of vibrated her skin and with that kind of tackiness. And that's another great technique to do all over the face if you wanted to do lymphatic drainage. We do have a more in-depth class on GEU. And you can also do the cryo globes again over the top of the mask to cool the skin. These are just great to have always ready. I keep them in the fridge. I feel like the freezer, they can be a little bit too jarring and create more damage. If it's too cold and you hold it in an area for too long, it can really damage the skin. But I mean, you guys are going to leave it on for too long, but just saying, I feel like the fridge is the best place to leave them. And when they're metal like this or like stainless steel, whatever, they will hold the cold for quite a bit of time. Okay. Ten minutes later, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna grab another tepid towel and remove our vitamin C mask called Potency Superfood. It's like a little multivitamin for the skin, and so is the serum I'm about to put on her face. Okay, so removing Potency. Okay, and next we're going to mist a toner called Bright Facial Mist, which contains organic sake, which is rich in kojic acid, and that is also a tyrosinase inhibitor. There's a theme here. Every product has a little bit of tyrosinase inhibiting ingredients.
While doing peel on darker skin types struggling with acne, hyperpigmentation, what do you recommend?
You can use all of our products. They're safe for all Fitzpatrick skin types. Usually for more melanated skin, for a professional peel, you want to stay at like a 2.5 to 3.5 pH. That way you're still getting like a pro peel, but you're not there's no risk for damaging the melanocytes, and our peels are in that range. So you can absolutely do this treatment. I would say pomegranate refining peel, the second peel I use, the red one, would be ideal for treating hyperpigmentation and acne on melanated skin while still getting a safe pro treatment. Great question.
And you guys have the best after kits.
Thank you. Yes, thanks for reminding me. We do have some great post-peel kits, little mini kits that are affordable that last for a long time. It's not just for one peel. Let's say they're doing a session. This peel will last them pretty much that whole peel series. Sorry, not session, but series, if that makes sense.
Which is how many is in a series? I'm sorry.
It depends. You can do it. We're all about customization and doing whatever you want to do. But to guide you, we recommend 4 to 6 peels spaced 2 to 4 weeks apart.
My favorite question, how much should we charge? Or I guess, how much are we spending in like supplies and what is the recommended price starting point?
Got it. So for supplies, I think you're spending like $7, something super, let me see. You are spending $630 to $795 per treatment. And our suggested price range is $130 to $200, depending on like, are you using the LED? Where are you located? If you're in a big city, you're probably going to charge more than $130. If you are using LED, you're going to add, more time, more money. So that's a good range to kind of start there. But yeah, it's only going to cost you $6 to $8 to perform the treatment. We're then going to mist with Bright Mist. This is the one that has that organic sake. This also has lime distillate, niacinamide, and a little bit of vitamin C. And yes, our post-peel kits are available. We have an acne kit as well. So let's say you're doing hyperpigmentation for post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, then you're going to want to send them home with maybe the acne kit and just give them proper directions on what to do post-peel. So like no actives for 2 to 3 days, and then they can go back to their regular routine. We also have a post-peel care card, which lists what to do and what not to do. That way, if your client is just like relaxing on the table and not really listening to you, they can check out their, marketing collateral, check out that pre and post peel care kit and have all their information right there. Okay, so we removed the mask, we applied Bright Facial Mist, and now we're going to use our Glow C Brightening Serum. This is the tyrosinase inhibiting product to use for hyperpigmented skin. And just in general, I love this as just like a very potent antioxidant serum. This has a triple C complex, which means it contains ascorbyl palmitate, L-ascorbic acid, and tetrahexadecyl ascorbate, 3 types of vitamin C. Tetrahexadecyl ascorbate is it's a lipid-based vitamin C. It penetrates really well, and it's very shelf-stable. So we love that. You also have rosehip, ferulic acid, and ferulic acid makes this 2 times more beneficial for helping with photo damage and protecting the skin. You also have kakadu plum, which is a botanical incredibly rich in vitamin C and antioxidants. You have red raspberry, hyaluronic acid, and summer lilac stem cells, which have been proven to help with photo damage. Really try to pack in all the antioxidants, as you can see. And this, I'm not sure if you saw, this vitamin C isn't like a drip vitamin C, which is pretty common. It is a kind of creamy base, like so. So you're getting a little bit of hydration. I mentioned it has hyaluronic acid. It's kind of like a very light moisturizer. And in the summer, if I'm feeling lazy, I'll just do like wash my face, do this, and SPF on top. Okay, so that was our triple C complex, our Glow C Brightening Serum. Then we're going to apply our Renew Eye Complex, my favorite. We have 2 eye creams. One is a gel, one is this one. I'll show you the texture. And there's a little bit of gold mica in here, so it like bounces the light off. So great for dark under eye circles. But this has guava and bilberry. Those are both really rich in vitamin C. So great for dark under eye circles, great for collagen synthesis. We're just going to go ahead and apply here. This also has hexapeptide 8, which is a neurotransmitting inhibiting peptide. It's going to inhibit the neurotransmitters that trigger muscle contractions. So great for fine lines, to boost those, to make those Botox last, if you're into that sort of thing. This also has, what else does this have? A little hyaluronic acid to hydrate. So great for like your comprehensive healthy aging eye care solution. We are then going to choose a moisturizer. We have 3 moisturizers. Balance is going to be more for your oily combo skin. Protect is for your, I would say, combination to normal skin. That's kind of what I use most of the time, except for the winter. I'll choose Nourish, our richest moisturizer. In this case, I'll be doing a little Protect. He pumps. And then we mix it with our SPF booster, which contains a little bakuchiol, also green tea. That's going to give you 200% more antioxidant protection. And you're going to apply to the skin. Hydrate, nourish, protect. And now is the time to really tell your clients how important home care is for hyperpigmentation and how important SPF is for hyperpigmentation. Because remember that melanin has a memory. It's a great way to kind of tell clients. Like if you have already done some treatments and you're seeing progress, let's keep it going by using the right home care. That's when you can send them home with a kit, create your own home care regimen that you think they should use. I highly suggest the Glow C Brightening Serum. The Potency Superfood Mask is great. We have a mandelic acid serum, a retinol renewal serum, which is a great kind of power duo. If you do like the Glow C during the day and retinol renewal in the evening, that's going to be fantastic for kind of sun damage. For acne or PIH, if that's the root cause is the acne for the post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, you can do like clear repair during the day and then mandelic resurfacing at night. There's so many ways to customize the home care regimen, but really teach your client how important home care is. That's where the magic happens. The treatment room is fantastic. It's going to kick off the magic, but the magic is happening at home, and consistency is what's going to give you results with anything in life, right? And let's do a little bit of a little lip product here. Just taking our balm, grabbing a little bit and applying. And you can also, if you want to give your clients a little bit of a glow, feel free to use a little Flora elixir at the end. Not for everyone, but some people just are really dry and they need a little bit of that, those lipids. Your texture, I wish you guys could feel the texture of her skin. It's like, when we started, you had a little bit of, rough texture on here, but it's completely gone.
I'm so excited.
And then, because remember earlier, we're all about that parasympathetic nervous system. When can we help kind of make you feel relaxed? So you can do two things. You can do, just like I started the facial with some deep breathing, we can do that. So you're going to take, once again, your relax and your oil. I pour the Vahadi in here, 1 drop of the relax, blend together. And this stuff smells so good. Take a deep breath. And once again, like a gentle touch. So that's one option. Another option you can do is use our aroma mist, which I kind of have been doing lately because I just love it. And there are these guys right here. You just shake them up. They already have the pure essential oils built in. Shake them up and spray. You're not spraying on the face. You're spraying around. It then kind of cascades. It feels kind of refreshing when it's falling down, and you can really smell the aroma. There we go. So that's just lovely. And a lot of times clients are like, what is that? And it's just an easy retail sale. And you're like, basically, instead of using Glade and Febreze, you can switch to these non-endocrine disrupting ingredients. I'm here to get rid of all the fragrance detergents and all the home sprays. That's just me. They're not good for you guys. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. Okay, so that's a great way to end the facial, with a little aromatherapy, kind of like a bookend. I also love our Refresh blend, which is peppermint and rosemary, kind of very invigorating. So it kind of signals, okay, everything was soothing, relaxing, chamomile, lavender. Now we're going to do this like minty, refreshing aroma, and it just signals, okay, let's start the next part of your day. But yes, that is the brightening hyperpigmentation facial. Pretty active, so make sure it's not a first-time facial for clients. I can go ahead and switch over. It's not a first-time facial for clients. It's definitely something you want to work your way towards. I just absolutely have seen great results. Please check out our before and afters. I feel like sometimes you need to see a before and after to see how well line can work. We have some great ones for acne, a few for hyperpigmentation, just for healthy aging in general. If you have any questions, let me know right now. Otherwise, you can go to greenenvee.com. On the upper right-hand corner is Become a Pro Spa Partner, and just fill out a quick form and they'll give you info. So hopefully you guys are interested, and yeah, let me know if you like this, what you want to hear next time, and
This
thank you
was
so much for watching.
absolutely fantastic.
Thanks, Maria. You're the best. I appreciate you, and thanks for having me on here.
Thank you for, I'm like, add to cart, add to cart, add to cart.
I love it. I know, same. I just did an order last night, and I just shoved it all in. Shoved it all in there.
So there is going to be a replay. It's going to get sent out via newsletter, and it will get uploaded on our YouTube. So if you hopped in a little bit late, or if you feel like watching it again, please feel free. Let's continue the conversation back in the group. Ask all the questions, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.